Okay, so as far as what to do for gym closures, if I coach you, ideally ask around in your local area, find someone with a home gym, toss them some money and train at their home gym, whenever works for them. Something is better than nothing, and training on equipment is better than training without equipment. Pretty logical. Also, make sure you take a good poll of all of your local gyms, because a lot of them are just capped at 50 members at a time and will remain open. So if you can find one following that policy, or if one of the gyms that initially closed in your area opens back up with that policy, just keep a very close eye out for that, because a lot of the smaller powerlifting gyms never have 50 people in them anyway. That's option one. Option two is training at home. Basically, the way I view this is you're going to lose a little bit of strength, but strength comes back really quickly if you can maintain muscle mass. And training at home is plenty of work to maintain muscle mass. So that would be our main goal. I guess it is just hypertrophy training, right? So the template I want you guys to follow, we're going to do an upper lower split. Just high frequency I think is good when you have very limited loading parameters. So we're going to do a high frequency approach, trying to stimulate muscles often. And I think that'll be plenty. As long as you guys do a decent job with your diets, you'll maintain all your muscle mass. It'll be fine. So first thing you're going to do is, as far as loading schemes for bodyweight exercises, I really like just pyramids where you do a set of 1, a set of 2, a set of 3, a set of 4, up as high as you can and come back down. And then the next time you do that workout, you try to get one higher, right? Because the principles of progressive overload still apply, because I think people really lose progressive overload in bodyweight training. So you have the pyramid approach, you have the total reps approach, which is another one that might account for if you start to plateau in the pyramid and you genuinely can't beat it, which I doubt you can't. But if you can't, or if you prefer programming it by total reps, you're going to perform total reps. And then also Josh Bryant's detailed, like you can look up Josh Bryant, Juarez Valley, Jailhouse Strong, just a kind of more fun way to do it. All the same, pushing a lot of total volume. First motion you're going to do is going to be push-ups scaled to your degree of strength. So if you're on the weaker end, you can do them from your knees. You can do them like hands up on a table or something. If you're pretty intermediate average, then you're doing regular push-ups. I wouldn't recommend doing a close grip because you're going to do that later in the training session. And then if you're more advanced, you either can figure out a way to do dips in your house, highly recommend, or also if you're more advanced, rather than banging out a million push-ups, I highly recommend you find something to elevate your hands on to get a greater stretch at the bottom. I think you're going to see a lot of additional benefit if you can set it up that way, because as powerlifters, the first thing we're doing as far as upper body strength, the most relevant thing to us is a flat pressing motion. I say as powerlifters as if that I'm included in that, but generally speaking, that's how I structure my upper body training sessions, right? So that's going to be the first one. The second one is going to require a little bit of creativity, where you find some sort of press in the overhead plane. If you're pretty strong, you can just hop up on the wall and do some handstand push-ups to the top of your head. Not the hardest thing in the world because they're only partial ROMs. Bang out some sets of those, you have your shoulder work done. If you're not on the stronger end, finding something weighted, throwing something in a backpack and doing single arm overheads, couple sets to failure per arm, goes a long way. Then you kind of have knocked out your chest. You've done that overhead pressing for both like shoulder strength, but also like just general staying healthy. And then, if you're coached by me, the kind of general format after that is you're going to go into back work. This one is, again, going to be more dependent on what you have. I can't just say, hey, do push-ups like I can for the main work. If you have a pull-up bar, obviously pull-ups are the gold standard. Inverted rows under a table are great. If you have a band, that opens up a lot of options as far as rows with the band. You can do pull-aparts, highly recommended. Face pulls, highly recommended. There's a lot of stuff you can do for back work. I'm just going to leave it to you guys to progressively overload either a total reps or a pyramiding scheme on whatever you have access to for back work. And then we get to the fun part, which is just the pump sesh, because we've got the main movers of the torso kind of figured out. You got chest, you got shoulders, you got back, and then you get into arms and delts, right? So you're just going to find something to do for triceps. I really like just doing body weight skull crushers, where you just put your hands on anything, skull crush to your head, extend. Genuinely a great exercise that I program for myself, whether or not I have access to things. Even if I have a bar, I'll sometimes just do body weight skull crushers, and you can kind of drop set them based on the height that you're pressing to. You could also do diamond push-ups. You can do press downs with your band, is a great one if you do have that band. You have a lot of options on that one. Triceps, I think, are a relatively easy one to train. You can do like bench dips on a table, or literally anything, I guess. And then biceps, just find something heavy. fill up a gallon of milk. I don't care. Just like get a pump. Honestly, it's that simple. Just push, try to squeeze the muscle, try to get in a lot of volume, drive a pump. It's the same thing we do in training, the same thing you can do elsewhere. Just limited load, drive the total volume. And then delt work. Again, find something that's weighted, raise it to the side, raise it to the front, do some rear delt raises, put in work, standardize your workouts, come up with what you have, list what you have for yourself, apply this template to it, and then fix either a pyramiding scheme or a total reps per exercise. And I expect you guys to progressively overload.